Hey guys, I'm back here with a video that it was kind of bugging me. What I've come up with, it's for the bead roller. So this is my fence that actually goes on my bead roller. Makes straight lines, what have you. But what I've come across is, this is great for an outer curve. So if this was your material and you wanted to create like a bead roll on the quarter panel of a 34 Ford, it's on a radius, on an outer radius. So this would work perfect. But the problem becomes when you go to an inner curve, so it'd be shaped like this. And I've been thinking, and what I come up with is I built another one of these, okay? And then what I'm gonna do, I got some 3/8 rod, and that's what these are. But see how these are bent out? They're flared out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bend them in. And then I'm gonna use like a piece of 1 inch, and it's gonna go in the center. So when I run it up to my metal, I make sure that my metal is always touching on the center of this, which will allow, perfect scenario, if this is the inner curve, and this is another one of these, when this metal comes around, it's an inner curve, is as long as I make sure I'm on this the whole time, I can do a bead on an inner curve. So I figure it'd be easier. I can do it with my bead roller with a different combination of dies because my shaft moves in and out. But if you have the capability of just building another fence, so if your bead roller came with a particular fence, mimic it, but instead of putting this, we're gonna make these two rods come in closer, which is gonna weld to this on a vertical level. Obviously this is too big, too tall. I'm gonna have to cut it down. So what I'm gonna do is, I gotta weld this, then I gotta bend up my rod accordingly. So I have two of these, and then I just swap these out. I'll hang it down at the bottom. So one will be for an inner curve, one will be for straight lines and outer curves. So I'm gonna start welding this up, get this welded, and then I'm gonna bend my two pieces, get them welded on, and then I'm gonna start bending and playing with this to try to get it to go. So that's my plan. So I was thinking this would probably help a lot of you guys out because a bead roller cannot do an inner curve. So unless you have an adjustable shaft and a mixed match of dies that you can make to where it creates your own little fence. But when I do that on my bead roller, the problem is when I use the dies, say I need to do it I need to put a bead on an inner curve that's say 6 inches in. Well, I can't because the die that I use is only allows me for like a 1/2 inch fence that I can go around that point. So I'm gonna weld this and then I'm gonna show you the piece when I get it all welded up and kind of pre-bent. All right guys, so I got it TIG welded up. I just used my Miller TIG welder. So I'm gonna kind of explain how, so what I did is I measured all this out accordingly. This is all bent one piece. Then what I ended up doing is shearing a piece that is exactly the dimension in here, and I tacked it in there. And then as you can see, I just TIG welded it. Not a lot of things went into it. It's just, I mean, it's pretty simple. This is my particular fence. I built my bead roller. I built the fence on it, so I'm just kind of making another one. This just screws in. So if you want to do something like this, you can build yours if yours is made out of like the tubing like mine is. But that's just a quick adjustment deal. So now I'm going to get to bending the outrights, the outriggers, and then I'm just using what I have laying around the shop, which is just a piece of 3/8 stainless. I think it's 100 thousandths wall. So stainless steel, whatever I've got laying around the shop. So I'm gonna get those bent up, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna erect this deal before I weld it all out. So hang in there, and I'll get these bent up. All right guys, so I got it all tacked together. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. So what I ended up doing, I just bent these The critical thing is this has to be on the center line of where your two dies are meeting. What I ended up doing is, instead of putting them on the side like my other one, I put them on top. And the reason why is I made this flush, so I put this 14 gauge underneath so it's set even with this, and I clamped it right here. Then what I did is I clamped these and I tacked them. Then I slid in my piece on top of the 16 gauge. The reason why is because when it goes in my bead roller, I want a little bit of an air gap underneath. This is going to hit on the center of the die, but this will make it to where I could slide it all the way back to my machine. I can go in, I think a total of 18 inches to use this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to weld up these. I put it in the lathe and I faced it off so it's perfectly flat. So when I set it in my on the table and I tacked it, it was flat. So this is going to be square to this. So it's not going to be pitched or nothing. It's going to be perfectly level. So I'm going to start welding these up, and then I'll show you the end product. I'll cut a piece of inner and show you that piece right there. So I'm going to fire off my Miller welder, and then I'm trying to figure out, I should probably put a tack on the bottom, and then I'll go to welding. So All right, as you can see, I got it all welded. I just welded it on the sides and then I welded that around. So as you can see, it's perfectly true. I'm gonna let it cool. I'm gonna grind off these back so I don't have any sharp edges. And then I'll cut a piece of sheet metal into an inner curve and I'll show you what it's all about. All right guys, so I've got my inner piece. This would be an inner fender well or whatnot. So we just put it in until it hits your guide. And I'm gonna go one turn down. Slow down my bead roller. And when you're feeding it, you just wanna make sure the back side of your sheet metal is always touching your guide. So. So as you can see, and I can adjust this however further I want off the edge. So if you have a bead out here, I could do the bead out here and then this can get bent over or whatnot on the inner radius, but it follows, once you bend it around, your bead will be consistent and proportionable to the edge that you cut. So that's just a little deal that I've been thinking about. And it's gonna work pretty good. I think the only other thing I could do, because over time, this piece, the metal will start cutting into it. So what I think I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna harden it so it won't scratch into it. But I think that's a pretty valuable tool if you've got a bead roller and you're trying to do an inner curve, is to make something like that. So now I have two. I have one for a straight line and an outer curve. Now I got one for the inner curve. So you guys stay tuned. If you're not a subscriber, go over there and subscribe to the channel. I'm always coming up with ideas and stuff like that to make this work. Anything that makes life easier for any of us. But as you can see, it's in the center of the dies and it just runs. It's all pivoting off that. So go over there and send me some comments and stuff. Tell me what you think of this, and then subscribe to the channel. And then here in probably a week or two, I'm probably gonna do a giveaway. So it's gonna pertain to going over to all my social media pages, liking, sharing, commenting, tagging people, whatnot. And I think it'll probably be in the upcoming weeks, maybe I'd say at the most about a month, to get you guys some gear or something here from Iconic Metalworks. So stay tuned and keep watching.